The cracks in Elizabeth Holmes's carefully constructed illusion didn't appear overnight. They emerged through the courage of individuals who risked their careers, their safety, and their futures to expose the truth. Today, we're examining the documented evidence of how Theranos unraveled, the specific tactics used to silence critics, and the crucial lessons about building transparent, accountable organizations in the AI age. The first major crack came from within. Tyler Schultz, grandson of former Secretary of State George Schultz, who sat on Theranos' board, was working as a lab technician when he began noticing serious problems with the blood testing technology. Court documents show that Schultz documented multiple instances where test results were wildly inaccurate, potentially endangering patients who relied on these results for medical decisions. What happened next reveals the toxic culture that Holmes had created to protect her deception. When Schultz raised concerns internally, he wasn't thanked for identifying problems that could be fixed. Instead, according to his testimony, he was isolated, intimidated, and eventually forced out of the company. This pattern of retaliation against truth-tellers is a critical red flag that every entrepreneur needs to recognize and actively prevent in their own organizations. Chung, another lab technician, experienced similar retaliation when she raised concerns about quality control and patient safety. Her documented experiences, revealed during the trial, show how Theranos created an environment where asking questions about the technology's effectiveness was treated as disloyalty rather than due diligence. This culture of fear and secrecy is antithetical to genuine innovation and represents one of the most dangerous aspects of the Theranos story. The breakthrough moment came when investigative journalist John Carreyrou of the Wall Street Journal began connecting the dots between multiple whistleblower accounts and publicly available information. His methodical investigation, documented in his book Bad Blood and supported by court evidence, revealed the systematic deception that kept Theranos operating despite fundamental technological failures. Carreyrou's reporting exposed that the Edison machines Holmes claimed could run hundreds of tests from a drop of blood were largely non-functional. Instead, Theranos was using traditional machines from other companies, often diluting the tiny blood samples to dangerous levels to make their system appear to work. This wasn't just misleading marketing. It was potentially life-threatening medical fraud. The documented evidence shows how Holmes and her leadership team responded to this investigation with aggressive legal tactics designed to intimidate and silence critics. They hired expensive law firms to send threatening letters to whistleblowers, journalists, and anyone who questioned their claims. This pattern of using legal intimidation to suppress truth is another crucial warning sign for entrepreneurs to recognize and reject. What's particularly important for AI entrepreneurs to understand is how the culture of secrecy at Theranos enabled the deception to continue for so long. Internal communications revealed during the trial show that different departments were deliberately kept isolated from each other, preventing employees from seeing the complete picture of the company's failures. This compartmentalization wasn't just about protecting trade secrets. It was about preventing anyone from understanding the full scope of the deception. The evidence also reveals how Holmes manipulated board meetings and investor presentations to maintain the illusion of success. Former employees testified that demonstrations were carefully staged, with functioning machines hidden from view, while non-functional Edison devices were prominently displayed. Patient testimonials were scripted, and test results were cherry-picked to show only successful outcomes while hiding the numerous failures. This systematic deception extended to regulatory interactions as well. Court documents show that Theranos provided misleading information to the FDA and other regulatory bodies, claiming capabilities that didn't exist and hiding problems that could have endangered patients. The company's interactions with regulators reveal a pattern of treating oversight as an obstacle to overcome rather than a crucial protection for public safety. The psychological toll on whistleblowers cannot be understated. Tyler Schultz testified about the personal cost of speaking out against a company where his own grandfather served on the board. The family tensions, legal threats, and professional consequences he faced illustrate why creating safe channels for reporting concerns is so crucial in any organization, especially those dealing with technology that affects people's lives. The evidence also shows how Holmes attempted to control the narrative even as the walls were closing in. Internal communications reveal efforts to discredit whistleblowers, plant favorable stories in the media, and maintain the appearance of business as usual, even as investigations intensified. This desperate attempt to maintain the illusion in the face of overwhelming evidence demonstrates how self-deception can become so complete that reality itself becomes the enemy. For AI entrepreneurs, the Theranos Unraveling offers crucial insights into building resilient, ethical organizations. The companies that survive and thrive are those that welcome scrutiny, encourage questions, and build their success on verifiable results rather than compelling narratives. Creating a culture where employees feel safe raising concerns isn't just good ethics, it's essential risk management. The documented timeline of Theranos' collapse also reveals how quickly things can unravel once the truth begins to emerge. From the first Wall Street Journal article to the company's dissolution was less than 3 years, demonstrating that deception, no matter how sophisticated, is ultimately unsustainable in the face of determined investigation and courageous truth-telling. As we conclude this episode, the evidence is clear. Truth has a way of emerging, and the organizations that try to suppress it ultimately face far worse consequences than those that embrace transparency from the beginning. In our next episode, we'll examine the legal consequences that followed, the broader impact on Silicon Valley culture, and the specific reforms that emerged from the Theranos scandal to prevent similar frauds in the future. The fight for truth at Theranos wasn't just about one company or one founder. It was about establishing that even in the fast-moving world of technology startups, accountability matters, patient safety matters, and the courage to speak truth to power can ultimately prevail against even the most sophisticated deception.